let's first of all tackle that first question. How much can I make? Well, what I'd like to do here is kind of share with you, first of all, what other people are making in medical billing. That's where I want to start, because I think that gives us a foundational position to kind of work from, because people want to know, well, what kind of money can I make at doing this? But what I'd like to start off with is, if you went to school to become a medical biller, we're going to look at some of what those people are actually making. Now, if you were to go to like a trade school, there are schools out there that you can become a certified medical biller. Now, that doesn't mean that you're owning a business. All that is that you've gone to a school that may have taken you anywhere from 6 months, maybe a year into this, and you're only going to be able to work for one doctor. So what I'd like to find out here before we begin, because again, I feel like we just need to kind of start on a ground level. Where does a regular medical biller make? What do they make here? So how much does an employed medical billing person earn? So this is somebody that you would think, again, that doctors hire, and they've got a medical biller in their office. Now, yes, the doctors have their own medical billing team. Some of them have their own people in there to do their medical billing. But that shouldn't scare us away from going after those doctors, because what doctors learn is it actually costs more to have a full-time employee, of what we would know an FTE, in that office to do medical billing. Because what happens here is, whenever these people get into that role, they end up doing more than just the billing, and they don't get to keep track of everything with that billing. And what the doctors end up finding is that their revenues start going down gradually over a period of time. And a lot of doctors turn back and go, well, I probably should have outsourced this in the first place. So, but there are doctors out there that have hired some folks, and we know that. So let's take a look at what they earn out there. So you can see here, and I'm going to make sure that I can actually see this. I got to blow this up a little bit larger for myself here, but whoops, let me get back one more screen there. There we go. We want to look at this first one here. You see it's a certified professional biller. Okay, so this is somebody that's kind of gone through a class. Now, folks, you could go research this yourself. AAPC is the American Academy for Professional Coders, okay? So you can go out there and you can go see what they were making. And this was just back in 2023. So this was just last year. So the median income, this is where people start once they've gone through a certified, some type of certified schooling, okay? So a certified professional biller, that income throughout the United States is going to average out to be about $56,981. Now, I want you to keep all of this in mind here as we kind of go through each one of these. So you can see, going from there, there is another section, a group of people that are called a certified professional coder, a CPC. Now, you're going to hear a lot about CPCs and what they do. They take the doctor's notes, and then they convert those into a billing part of it, to where the doctors can actually do the billing. So there's what's called a diagnosis code, what's wrong with the patient, and then a procedure code of what the doctor did for the patient. And so it's these people that can take the doctor's notes without any of those numbers or letters that go along with that, and they can convert those into a diagnosis code or the procedure code. So those are coders, okay? Now, let's make sure that we understand that when you join us here in American Business Systems, you don't need to have either one of these certifications. I'm going to kind of let you know right off the bat, you don't need any of this. You don't need any of that education, because going back over here to this one little slide over here, again, remember, we're going to certify you as a certified medical revenue manager, which is going to encompass both of those, billing and coding. You may not be the one doing the coding, because we have services for you to do that coding. But remember, you got to understand that you're the owner of a medical billing company. Okay, so there's a paradigm shift that you're going to have to make here. But getting back to this over here, so you've got the professional biller, you got the professional coder. Then you can go through all of the rest of them. I'm not going to go down through every one of them, but what I want you to do, if you've got a pen and paper that you've got in front of you, I want you to write down this number where you see that bottom number there. It's the average, $67,680. So even at the highest level, if you took all of those and you average everything together, one individual is going to basically be anywhere from 67 to maybe $80,000. Okay, so that's about the top end of what we're talking about here. Okay, so it's important for you to understand about what people are actually getting paid in a doctor's office, because guess what? That's a cost factor for a doctor. Okay, let that sink in for a moment. This alone is a cost factor for a doctor. That's why I want you to write this number down. Okay, all right, so as we go through this, because I want to show you what you're able and capable of making. So what I want you to understand that you can always go find what I'm going to show you here on our website. So you know you can go to our website at absystems.com, and then you can scroll all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to show you where a calculator is. But what you'll do is go over here where it says calculate your potential. Or you can see it right there. I'm kind of circling right there. You can be able to go there and do this calculation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what that's going to look like when you get there. It's going to look like this. Now, I know it might be a little bit small on yours, but I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger so that you can see it. And so what I want to show you is what you can make with just doing billing for one doctor. Okay, now remember those numbers that I gave you earlier. So let's look at that. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So everybody wants to know, what's the billing rate? What should I bill a doctor? What should I charge a doctor for when I do their billing? Well, you can see here that the normal range is going to be anywhere from 4 to 8%. Now, when you're trying to figure that out for your particular practice that you might be getting involved with, don't worry about that right now too much, because we've got a complete support team that's going to help you. Make sure that you're doing the right range for that particular doctor and for that specialty, because we're going to calculate not only how many patients that the doctor is seeing, but what kind of specialty is it. So we've kind of got those numbers down, so we're going to be okay with that. But typically what we have found out, the average of what we're seeing currently is going to be roughly about 7%. Okay, so I like to start at 7% because I know I can always come down a little bit, but I always know I could go up if I needed to. So 7% is about the average going rate for any good medical billing company right now. All right, so you've got that plugged into this calculator. The next thing we're going to do is the average claim amount. So when you go to the doctor, typically you know that you're going to be charged anywhere from $100 to $200 when you go see that doctor. Depending again, whether it's just the PCP or you're going to see a specialist, you know that if you were having to pay out of pocket, this is what it's going to cost you. But remember, this is the amount claim that we're going to bill out there. So the average claim amount that we're seeing right now is about $150. Now, again, we're kind of going through this medium part of trying to figure out, are we dealing with a specialist, or are we dealing with just a smaller practice, maybe a primary care physician? And then there's some things that we can, even with a primary care physician, there's some things that we can help that doctor get those claim averages up to where we're talking about here. All right, so this is typical. Now we're going to talk about the number of patients a doctor sees. Now, this number is actually below average. So you can see here that we're not trying to blow up the numbers here. We're trying to take very medium type averages on billing rates and the claim amount, but the number of patients a doctor will see in a day. This is how many that, the doctor's going to try to get in and get through that office. And even at this, that would be anywhere from 12 to, let's say, 14 patients in the morning. And if the doctors are seeing the same amount in the afternoon, they're seeing 12 to 15 in the afternoon. You can see that that's going to be an average about 25 patients a day. Folks, I don't know about you, but every time I go see the doctor, it seemed like there's almost like 25 patients in there when you're going to see the doctor at that point. Because typically, average, a doctor is going to see anywhere from 30 to 40 patients a day. That's why they're so burned out. And they think they have to, because they know that there's a part of billing attrition that happens. So imagine that you could get this doctor streamlined a little bit better, making sure that more than 98% of their claims are accepted and paid versus anything that might be in the 60 to 70%, and they're having to get in more patients in there just to kind of help cover that cost. All right, so here's the magic number. Here's the number everybody's been waiting for. If we take the billing from a doctor at 7%, at $150 per claim, at 25 patients a day, okay? This is your projected yearly income, okay? Well, you can see that is actually more than what the average of all of those people that are billing inside of a doctor's office. Now, remember, I told you, I wanted you to remember that for a doctor, for having a full-time employee is a fixed cost, okay? In the recent, in other webinars, we've actually had this comparison where we got this chart showing how much it costs for a doctor to have someone in-house doing their billing versus someone outsourcing. At this point, this is the all that the doctor's going to be out of for cost doing their billing. Inside that doctor's office, not only does he or she have the fixed cost of $67,000, $68,000 a year, plus they've got to pay for all of their software, because all of software now is a subscription base. If not, the doctors have paid literally thousands of dollars to have it in a server type of base. So imagine on the other costs. So if you were to average this out, you could probably add another $20,000 to $30,000 a year for a doctor to do billing in their own office. So imagine adding another 40% of the cost of what it's going to cost that doctor for a full-time employee. Add another 40% of that. That's the real cost of a doctor's office to do billing in their office. Imagine getting that 40% away from the doctor already just by simply outsourcing that to an outsourced billing company. That's why people are attracted to what we're doing here at American Business Systems, because they start to understand this early on, that, hey, I'm not afraid of doctors having their own employees, because I know right off the bat, I can probably save them anywhere from 20 to 40% just getting the billing out of their office, because it's going to free up all that extra cost money that those doctors are going through. All right, so we're going to come back to this a little bit later, but I'm going to ask you a question here. Why is this important to know? Well, first of all, there's a time factor in how many you might want to bill for, okay? The first thing I want to look for is how long does it take for someone to become a medical biller? It's going to take anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. Now, if you got the time to wait for that and you just want to become a full-time employee of a doctor's office, that's your route, okay? All right, so how much time does it take for you to become a medical billing company here with American Business Systems? Well, it's going to take you less than 30 days. Why is that? Because we've got a way in which we can get you trained within 30 days and then support you for a lifetime. So that means that your training never stops, it never ends. If you got a question that you can't get answered, or you feel like you can't answer, you just say to the doctor, you know what, I'm going to get back with my team over here. You got a great question there. I'm going to get that back, or write it down. I'm going to get it back, and we'll get your question answered as quickly as possible. So this is important for you to know, that it's going to take you at least 6 months to a year and a half to get that other training just to become a certified biller or a certified professional coder, and only be capped out at the most, even if you go through all those sort of certifications, probably about $80,000 to $85,000 a year. But that's working as a full-time employee, okay? You're here not to become an employee. You're here to become a business owner. And we can get you there in less than 30 days. Okay, so let me get down to the next question that we were asking is how quickly can I see a return on my investment? Okay, so a lot of people ask this first question here, what is a return on investment? Well, let's just kind of take that real quickly. A return on your investment is the key business matrix that measures the profitability of investments are making activities by weighing the size of the upfront costs against the net profits it produces. Okay. All right. So all that is what is the cost to get started and how quickly can I get that money back into my pocket? That's about it. Now, there's a time factor there, and we know that we're starting a business. If I were to ask the question to everybody that's on the call today, which we've got a great group here today, if I were to ask this question is, how long do you think it normally takes for a brand new business out of the box to really start making a profit? And we're not talking just making money, but we're talking about being in the black and not in the red. All right, so typically, I'll help answer this for you because I did a little research on that, and I got some information from a company called FreshBooks. Everybody probably knows who FreshBooks is, but they did a study on how long does it take a business to become profitable. It says here, and this is from a CPA, it says on average, a new business takes anywhere from 2 to 3 years to be profitable. And again, I can go through all of this, but at the end of this article, you can see here, basically, it really still takes anywhere from 1.5 years, maybe to 2 years to really become profitable. We've seen people have their return on investment, which means they've turned a profit, which means that they pay back all of their investments. And we've seen that within the first year. And I'm going to show you how that can happen here. So let's first of all talk real quickly about what the investment is. If you've been to our website here at absystems.com, you can see here that your upfront investment includes all the things I'm going to show you here this afternoon, but it's just right at $30,000 investment. And you can see that again right there. So we're going to talk real quickly about what it's going to mean to get your investment from your investment into American Business Systems here with us and making that a profit. So here we got a $30,000 investment. We need a return on that. So how quickly can we get that return? Well, in your first year, after you're getting your first doctor there, you know that you can at least average anywhere from a 30 to a 40, let's call it a $40,000 return. Okay, and this is you doing the billing. Okay, so we're going to make sure that you learn how to do the billing. You're capturing all of the money. There's not any other out expenses. So everything that you're making from the doctor is going right back to you. And you should see your first return and your success to be with just one doctor. You should bring in anywhere from $35,000 to $65,000 a year. Now, again, you can go in there and play with that calculator. I want to remind you where you can go on that calculator again and just go through the numbers one more time so that you can see this. And I'm going to break this down even further here in just a moment. But again, if we're billing at 7% and that average claim is right at $150 per claim, and that doctor's seeing is at least 25 patients in a day, your potential income for that particular year is $68,250, which is double your investment. That's the important part for you to learn. That's why we can say with one doctor, you can have your return on investment within the first year. So let's kind of take a look at this. And I'm going to break this down for those that would like to actually see the calculation. So here we are. We've got this one doctor over here to the left, and this doctor is seeing 25 patients a day. So they're consulting, they're seeing patients, they're taking blood pressure readings, they're doing everything that they need to do with a patient there at a doctor's office. And if we take that 150 patients times 25, that's about $3,750 a month, just right there. I'm sorry, not a month, a day. Okay, so if we've got $3,750 per day that doctor is trying to bring in. Now, remember, most cases, if they're trying to do this with an inside biller, the doctor already knows that there's going to be a certain part of attrition that the doctor's never going to get this money back. The reason why we can say the doctors can actually see less patients now, because remember, our claims that we go file, we have a rejection rate of less than 2%, which means that we're probably getting 98% of this doctor's money on the first payment. Okay, so $3,750 per day. And then if we take this out and start calculating this out, and then we start to add our 7% to that, this is your average net earnings per day. $262.50 per day. Now, what's cool about this is actually going to take you less than 90 minutes a day to do this. So let's just say that you stick it out to 2 hours. So that means that you're averaging, with one doctor working 2 hours a day, you're averaging a little over $130 an hour. Now, I don't know about you. If you're making that kind of money right now, you're probably doing pretty well. But again, if you start to understand how this is really going to work and then give you back time that you probably never have had before, is it worth the risk of you going out and saying, you know what, I am going to go out there and go find that doctor. I'm going to do what American business tells me to do. I'm going to stick to what they teach me to do. And I'm going to go out there and get it, because I don't know where I can go make more than $130 an hour anywhere. Okay. And you can work this from home. Now, what's the good thing about it is, if we take all of this again and just kind of start pulling it all together, so that's $262.50 a day times 5 days a week. That's a little over $1,312 a week times 52 weeks. That's where you get the $68,250 per doctor. Now, the average amount of doctors that our folks are doing billing for, if we took everybody together, people that are doing at least one to some that are doing literally hundreds of doctors. So if we pull them all together and we took that bigger group of people that are probably in the 10 to 20 area, let's just say that the average group of doctors that our ABS business owners are billing for are 3 doctors. Okay, so all we've got to do is take those 3 doctors and multiply that out times 3, and the average ABS business owner that is billing for 3 doctors is making over $200,000 a year. Now, we got to give and take. We know that there's going to be plus and minuses. We're going to know that some doctors are going to see more patients. Some doctors are going to see less patients. Some doctors are going to be billing out a little bit higher rates. Some doctors will be a little bit lower. Some doctors may be at 6%. Some doctors may be at 8%. That's why we kind of just take the averages of everything. And it should average anywhere, even on the lower side. Even if you were doing billing for 3 doctors and you're doing $160,000 to $180,000 a year, that's well worth doing that. Remember, for each of these doctors are less than 2 hours a day. So remember, not only are you getting more money back into your pocket, but you're actually getting more time available to yourself, because first of all, you're able to work from home. You're not having to get out and drive to work somewhere. And so you're averaging your time there of your lifestyle of what you're looking for to being able to work from home, work anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 6 hours a day, giving you plenty of time to be able to take your time in the morning, because most doctors' offices don't even open until 8:30 in the morning, and they're not seeing their patients there until about mid-morning anyway. By the time that you get that day's patients, you may start your day a lot later in the day. You may start your billing and processing and doing everything in the revenue cycle management part of it, maybe until mid-morning, and take it all the way up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The great thing about it is you get to set your own time schedule. If you prefer to do this at night, or if you got some things to do during the evening and you want to do it more than the morning, get up in the morning and do yesterday's bills or claims. You can do whatever you'd like to do. As long as you're getting those claims in to the insurance companies within 24 hours, you set your own time, your own hours there. So again, imagine that you're working 3 doctors at about two hours a day. Again, that's the most that you're thinking about there. You got about 6 hours in a day's time that you're doing this, and you're making an extremely good at-home income. Now, folks, I have to say, there are some folks here that have reached out and touched the stars. There's just one group that we know of, and that is Brian and Laura Dean. And what they've been able to do is truly astronomical. But this is just some of the things that they've been able to do. And they've been a part of ABS since 2021. So they are, or even actually before that, but they said as of 2021 that their business has 17 full-time employees. That means that they are not doing the billing. That's what it is to be a business owner. You can expand this out to as large as you want to, or keep it as small as you want to. And again, you can see that it replaced their previous income for both of them, and they boost a 45 to 55% profit margin in what they do. So, folks, this is what you're able and capable of doing. All right. So, what I want to do here, as I kind of start wrapping this up here, because we're already at the bottom of the hour, is really what's included in your investment. So what does this $30,000 investment get me? Well, again, I would address you back over to our website, but then really work real diligently with your sales rep. And what you're getting every product and service that American business has. We hold nothing back. We don't say, hey, if you want iClaim and EMRX, but you want to add Audit Guard and CodeWrite or virtual care a little bit later, it's going to cost you more. Or if we get new products and services, when we get those out, then we're going to charge you more. No, this $30,000 investment gets you everything that I'm showing you, which is the iClaim platform, which now, if you'll get with your business coach, we have actually 3 different iClaim different platforms to be able to select from, specifically to help you with any type of doctor that you might need to work with. Same thing with the EMRX platform, which is the EMRX is our electronics platform, electronic medical records platform that you're going to want to go through. Then let me kind of remind you there that you do not need to be a certified professional coder, because this is one of your services that you're going to be able to provide a doctor from day one. You may not know anything about codes, medical codes, but that's okay. We've got you covered on that, because CodeWrite is that service that you could be able to utilize and ask one of our certified professional coders to do some coding for you, and then you're going to be able to charge the doctor for that particular service, so that you're not anything out of the pocket. Matter of fact, there's some ways that you can make money on top of this service for your doctors. There's going to be some doctors here who might need some auditing services on their codes. They want to make sure that they're not overcoding or undercoding and get in trouble with Medicare. Overcoding would be that they're using a code that's higher for a higher reimbursement, but their notes may not substantiate that particular code. In a lot of cases, what we find is that the doctors undercode, and they should be charging a higher code. And so what Audit Guard will do is kind of set that balance there, and we're going to show you how to utilize that. One of the other bigger things that the doctors need is HIPAA compliancy services. This is huge of what they need, and this is every day of the year, not just once a year or the beginning part of the year, but any time that they need that. The other thing that you're getting, again, I'm kind of bringing it down here as we kind of get close to the end here, is the products, the other services that you have. What every business needs to get started out there is a website. We've got you covered on that. We have several different templates you can choose from. All we're going to need from you is your URL address, which is your internet address there that we'll be able to put on here, and your logo and the name of your company. Again, we're going to help you through all of that. If you don't have an entity like an LLC or a C Corp and you need some help with that, our team here at ABS is going to help you kind of navigate even through that. You'll also have 24-hour access to a website that is called our ABS LSS. And this will have everything that you're going to need. So if it's technically after hours and we're not answering the phone 24 hours a day here, but let's say that something happens early in the morning or late in the evening and you need to get some refresher courses on anything, you go to this place here. It's the ABS LSS website there that you'll be able to find everything that you're going to need. And if you need other types of support mechanisms, you can get it from there. But again, you can see right up at the top there on my slide there's an 800 number there. And if you were to dial 2 there, that would get you to support. Now, if you try to call that today, they're going to ask you, your credentials to be able to access support. If not, they're going to ship you right back over to your sales rep over here. But we're open Monday through Friday, answering live support questions all the time. The other thing that you're getting is going to be all of your marketing material, all of your marketing support. And it starts off with one of the catalysts here, which is a book called The New Thriving Medical Practice. Now, inside of this book, excuse me, has all the information that a doctor is going to need to know why they probably should outsource their billing and why they need to have a thriving medical practice. But what's great about this, once you become an ABS business owner here, we get to put your name on the front cover as the person who wrote the foreword to the book. You can see it right there and kind of using those little arrows there to kind of point your attention to there. But that's actually inside the book. So we print these on demand, get some copies for you with all of your contact information in there. And again, your name goes on the front of the book. So your name as a certified medical revenue manager actually goes on this. So this is what's included in that $30,000. Then you have a live one-on-one training. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch the webinar I did last week on, it wasn't that last week, it was the week before last, on training, go back 2 Wednesdays from right now. Go back just 2 Wednesdays from now, right now, and I did a full-blown webinar on training and what was covered in that training class. This is a one-on-one. This is where you're going to be, you're going to do this online, but you'll, instead of having not being able to talk right now like we're doing here on our webinar today, you'll have a complete open dialogue with the person that's going to be teaching you. And it's going to have all the tools that's going to help you get that first client. And then after training, all of our business owners are going to have a jumpstart marketing plan to help them get their first client within the first 30 to 90 days. It plus comes with your lifetime of support. We never ask you for another dime for support. It's an on-demand support through the website and a team of US-based support experts available by phone, email to support you in every aspect of your marketing and client retention.